Hello everyone, welcome to the first lecture of 6th week of Scalable Data Mining course. We are discussing streaming algorithms. Okay. Um, so today we are going to discuss uh, the problem of frequent count. Okay. So just to recall, in the streaming model, as we have seen, there is a stream of incoming data. Okay, so you have a stream processor here, and data is coming one after the other in a stream. And mostly we think of data here as items which belong to some universe U. Okay, and basically these items are arriving one after the other. Okay, yeah, this can be just element IDs. Okay, uh, or without loss of generality, one could also think of element ID plus frequency. Okay, so the reason you can think about it like this, so given that your frequency is only positive, is that you can always write, so let's say your stream is something like this: A2, B1, C1, and so on and so forth. You can always write it as this stream A, B, C. So you can just repeat the element by that much. Okay. Now, so we have looked at till now only arrival only streams. So what does arrival only streams mean? So the idea the idea here is that an item can come in the stream. Okay, so A, B, C, all these items can come, but we cannot have an update in the stream which, let's say, delete an item. So we cannot have, let's say, negative frequency counts here. Okay, so for example, we cannot write it as A2, B1, and then A minus 1. We cannot have streams like this, because this cannot be written in this format. Okay, but this is also a model of streaming. Okay, and this is sometimes called arrival plus departure model, also called turnstile model. Okay, and sometimes this arrival only streams are also called cache register models. So these are also sometimes terminologies used. Okay, um, so as discussed in this model, you still have a streaming data, but your data is now of the form item, comma, frequency. Okay, and this frequency can also be negative. Okay, so why would we want to think of such a model? Okay, so consider the problem of monitoring, let's say, databases. So let's say you want to monitor like the number of uh, the number of items of a or number of rows with a particular key value. Okay, so suppose this is what you want to monitor. Okay, now you want to monitor in a manner such that your database is constantly getting updated. Okay, and your updates are of this form. Okay, so this particular key value, and then whether a certain number of records of this key value has been added, or sometimes they have been deleted. Okay, so this is one example where your updates, or sometimes also called, you must have so these are like the transactions on the database, right? So these are the transactions on the database. Okay, and these are happening in a streaming manner, so these are happening one after the other. Okay, but the frequency can also be negative. Okay, so this is just one example where you would like to think of this arrival plus departure model. Okay, so now let us discuss the problem of frequency estimation. So at a high level, what is the problem of frequency estimation? So given the input stream, okay, you have to answer queries about item frequencies. Okay, so how many times total has the item appeared in the stream? So remember that. So so uh, so, so mostly we will be talking about the arrival model. Okay, in this lecture, but it can also be arrival plus departure model. Okay, uh, so yeah, so in that case, in the arrival plus departure model, the total frequency would be the sum of all the frequencies, and since there are negative frequencies, so there could be also sort of a negative thing. Okay, in the arrival model, it can of course never be negative. Okay, now there are of course many practical applications. Okay, so for example, you can find the most popular web pages so from website logs. Okay, so if you have a website log, and if you have one entry for every URL, like every visit to the URL, okay, so then you can just compute the most popular URL, okay, just by doing this frequency count. Okay, so you just have to keep counting the you have to somehow answer the query that what is the count of each URL at this point in time. Okay, uh, then you can detect, for example, denial of service attacks. Okay, so uh, if there are like many hits to a particular server or something, or a switch, for example, then again you can see if there is a denial of service attack going on. Okay, and then of course there can be like query optimization. Okay, so typically you can, if you have the counts of tuples, you can optimize the join queries very effectively. Okay, um, okay, so and yeah, so these are also used as subroutines in many problems. Okay, so for example, you may want to do an entropy estimate. So anywhere you want to maintain a histogram. So all these are some form of histograms. Okay, so so if you have a histogram of the items, okay, you can always normalize the histogram, and then for example calculate the probabilities, and then you can have you can estimate the entropy, or you can estimate the TF-IDF, okay, or you can estimate the estimate language models. Okay, so you can do all this uh, by using this frequency estimation as a subroutine. Okay, okay, so the question is, as we make one pass through the stream, can we estimate the frequencies? Now, uh, first, uh, let us consider uh, we want to estimate the frequency of all items. Okay, so can we create a data structure? Okay, uh, which is also sometimes called a sketch, but not always called sketch, okay, which is sublinear in data size. Okay, so this is very important, that it should not be theta n. Okay, it should not be theta n. Okay, it should be something like small omega n. So it should be strictly less than n, because otherwise there is no point of using the streaming model. Okay, okay, and answer all frequency queries exactly. Okay, so can we answer all frequency queries of all items? So so remember, you have to think about all different kinds of streams and then ask whether for all such streams can you answer all frequency queries, and the answer is no. And you can construct many counter examples, right? So you can, for example, so if you have, let's say, n items, you can always have something like you can have uh, some of the items with let's say three frequency, okay, and then one item with frequency 2 and one item with frequency 1, okay. And then the question is, in order to answer this, you basically rather distinguish between this 2 and 1. You have to basically keep uh, all n items, because there is no way of distinguishing this number from this, okay. uh, yeah. So similarly, okay, so the next question is, can we answer the frequency queries, okay, of the most frequent elements exactly? So what is most frequent here? We are sort of thinking vaguely here. So vaguely, the most frequent is the ones which have like frequency, let's say, greater than some m by k, okay, or equivalently frequency greater than epsilon m, okay. So the answer to this is also no. We cannot exactly answer uh, frequency queries for even the most frequent items. So for example, in this case, the most frequent items could be the items with count 3. Now, even for those, we may not be able to uh, answer uh, frequency queries exactly. Okay? So then, what we are aiming here to do is to estimate frequencies of most frequent elements approximately. Okay, so that is the problem we are trying to answer. Okay, now most frequent items are also sometimes called heavy hitters. Okay, uh, so now so note that we have to determine two things. Okay, first is, so given an update stream of length m, okay, find out all elements that occur frequently. Okay, so what do we mean by frequently here? Let's say at least 1% of the time. Okay, uh, so can we do this in sublinear space? Okay, so this is the first So this is the first type of question. Okay, so this basically says that can you, so there are two questions. Okay, so first is you have to identify all elements, okay, whose frequency, so let's say f of x, so let's say your element is x and its frequency is f of x. Okay, so identify all elements whose frequency f of x is greater than or equal to some epsilon. Okay, and again the answer is no. Okay, so this cannot be done in linear space and time. Okay, so you may miss uh, some items, okay, uh, which are like this. Okay, so the key here is that in sublinear space. Okay, so okay, so the next question comes is find out elements that occur at least phi m times and none that occur phi less than phi minus epsilon m times. Okay, so this question can be answered with sort of error epsilon. So why is there an error epsilon? So basically you see there might be elements whose actual count is between let's say your f of x. Okay, so let me put it like this: f of x is in between these two numbers. Okay, and those will still be reported as heavy hitters. Okay, so it may so happen that these elements will be reported as heavy hitters. Okay, so this question, but none of the elements with less than phi minus epsilon m frequency will be reported as heavy hitters. Okay, so this can be achieved. Okay, and of course a related question is that can we estimate, so one is to identify the elements which are heavy hitters, and the second question is to actually answer the frequency of each of the heavy hitters. Okay, so in order to derive the algorithm, first let us look at a very simple version of this. So what is the simple version? Simple version is the majority problem. Okay, so the majority problem just says given a stream, okay, check whether there is an item in the stream which has majority at a given point in time. Okay, so let's say you have at any point in time you have seen capital N items. Okay, the item X has majority. Okay, if f of x is greater than, strictly greater than n by 2. Okay, if this is the case, okay, then we say this item x has majority. Okay, and we are working under the arrivals only model. Okay, uh, now here is an algorithm for this. Okay? So you just maintain one counter. Okay, any one counter. So you maintain a counter C. Okay, now for every item, if counter is 0, okay, then pick the current item and increment the counter. Okay, so every time an item, let's say x comes, you do the following. If your counter C is 0, you just store this item x as the current item and you increment the counter. So you C becomes now 1. Okay, else if if the new item is same as the item in hand, then increment the counter. So let's say now your counter is some value c but not 0. Okay, so your c not equal to 0 and you have the item x. Now if your new item that is coming is also x, okay, then you just do a c plus plus. Okay, so your counter, just increment counter. So if your counter was, let's say, 5, it becomes 6. Otherwise, so what is the otherwise case? The otherwise case is that you have an item x, you also have a c which is not equal to 0, but your new item is y which is not equal to x. Okay, so then what do? You just decrement the counter. Okay, so you still keep x here, but now you do c minus minus. Okay, so your counter value, if it was 5, now becomes 4. Okay, so yeah, if counter value was 1, then it becomes 0. Okay, okay, so this is an example. So let's say the color of the dot is like is the identity of the item. Okay, so if we were to sort of track the counter value, okay, so here counter is equal to 1. Okay, so this counter is equal to 1. Here you were tracking red but blue came, so counter becomes 0 again. Okay, so you decrement. Okay, now again here counter is 0, so you store red and make counter 1. You are already tracking red here, so you make counter 2. You are already tracking red, so make counter 3. And you are tracking red, so you decrement counter. Again tracking red, so make counter 3. Tracking red, make counter 4. Tracking red, item is different, so make counter 3. Make counter 2. Again make counter 3. And again make counter 2. Okay. So now, so this is what your counter value is going to be, and you are going to track red. Okay. Now, the result here is that if there is an item in majority, then it will be in hand. Okay. So what it doesn't say is what will happen if there is no item which is in majority. Okay. But if there is an item which is there in majority, that item will definitely be there in hand. Okay. So let us see why. And the proof is simple actually. So look at the algorithm. Okay, so every time you see an item other than the item that you are tracking, okay, so you basically cancel one arrival of the item that you are tracking. Okay, so every time you see an item other than the item that you are tracking, okay, you cancel one arrival of the item that you are tracking. Okay, now think about the majority item. Okay, so this is the majority item. Okay, so at some point in time you have to track it. Why is that? That is simply because otherwise, okay, so you will not have enough uh, arrivals of other items, okay, to cancel uh, like all arrivals of the majority item, because remember the majority item arrived greater than n by 2 times. Okay, so the majority items arrived greater than n by 2 times. Okay, uh, so the other items arrived n minus whatever the f of the majority item was, and this is greater than n by 2. Whatever this number is, definitely it is less than n by 2. Okay, and so it cannot be that, uh, yeah, so it cannot be that you cancel out all arrivals of the majority item. Okay, that is one way to think about it. Okay, so the majority algorithm actually tells us, it just maintains one counter. Okay, very little space, definitely sublinear. Okay, uh, and then it is able to tell us whether uh, there is an item with majority. Okay, now we are going to generalize this idea to the frequent count problem, or the approximate frequent count problem. And in order to do this, we are going to use the Mishra and Grease algorithm. Okay, and what is the algorithm? So algorithm is something like this. Okay, uh, so instead of one counter, now you have k counters. Okay, so you start with k counters, and you initially set all the k counters to 0. Okay, now every time a new item comes, okay, you have to do one of this. Okay, so let the new item be x. Okay, then if x is same as an item in hand, okay, so you are maintaining k counters and also k items in hand. Okay, so that is the important. So there is an item, so let's say xi. Okay, and there is a counter ci till xk and ck. So when ci is 0 initially, sort of these items are just null. Okay, it doesn't matter what they are. Okay, but then you start processing like this. So if the item that has arrived is already in hand, okay, you increment its counter. Okay, otherwise, if the number of items that you are tracking is less than k, okay, so that means you have filled up some of the positions here. Okay, and their counters are also now positive. Okay, but some of the other counters are still 0, and those there is no item there. Okay, then you store x with counter is equal to 1. Okay, otherwise, okay, so this is the last case. So this is the case where you have all the items. So all k counters have some item, and all of them have count strictly greater than 0. Okay, so this is what means by all the items are being tracked. Okay? And now you have an item which does not match any of the items. Okay, here you have a new item. So what do? You decrement all of these counters. Okay, so you decrement all of these counters, and when you decrement all of these counters, some counter value may become 0. Okay, so if a counter value becomes 0, basically you stop tracking that item. Okay, so for whichever item the counter becomes 0, counter value becomes 0, you stop tracking that item. Okay, so that position is now kind of free. Okay, so this is the algorithm. Okay, and then at the query time, what do you do? Okay, at the query time, you do a simple thing. So if Q is the query item, okay, if Q is in hand, so if you are tracking Q, okay, you just return its counter value. Okay, otherwise you just return 0. Okay, so the question is, why does this work? Okay, okay, so so here is the intuition. Okay, so let fx be the true frequency, the actual frequency of element x. Okay, so at the end, okay, uh, some of the elements are stored with the counter value. Okay, so when you have a query y, if you so if you have a query y, okay, then and y is in hand, then you return f of y hat, which is basically your estimate of f of y, okay, as the counter value. Else you return f of y hat equal to 0. Okay? So we have seen this. Okay, so why is this the case? Okay, so why is this a good algorithm rather? Okay, or why is this interesting? Okay, so let us see the first claim. Okay, so the first claim is that no element with frequency greater than m by k is missed at the end. Okay, so what this is saying is all elements with frequency greater than m by k, okay, they will definitely be in hand. Okay, or they will definitely be tracked. Okay, uh, some other items may be tracked. Okay, but definitely all elements with frequency greater than m by k will be tracked. Okay, now why is this? Okay, so you see, every time, okay, uh, we drop an item, okay, so each decrement, okay, so remember how the algorithm is working. Okay, so every time we see an item which we are not tracking, okay, we decrement all the counters. Okay, now this decrement, that the counters that we decrement were incremented in the first place because there was an arrival. Okay, okay, so every time we are not able to track one item, we are actually charging k arrivals. Okay, so we are decrementing, because remember, decrement, we are decrementing all the counters. Okay, and there are k counters, and each of these k counters has some value. Okay, so if this is not the case, let's say we are not tracking k items, okay, then we will not drop, right? We will not decrement anything, we will just store the new item. Okay, so every decrement, okay, is charged with k arrivals. Okay, so this is the key observation here. Okay, that every decrement, or even if you drop an item, or in general if you are not able to track an item, okay, it is charged with k arrivals. Okay, so hence, if there is an item which has got greater than m by k arrivals, okay, so it has arrived in this, it appears in the streams greater than m by k times. Okay, and in the end, suppose we are not tracking it. Okay, then how many decrements do we have to do? Okay, so we have to do m by k. Okay, so we have to do m by k decrements. Okay, so we so 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 that is why we are not tracking this. Okay, because otherwise, so when are we doing a decrement? When we are not able to track something, right? Okay, so we are not able to track this item. Okay, so that is why we are doing m by k decrements. Okay, now how many other other arrivals are we charging for this? Okay, so for each decrement we are charging one arrival. Okay, so for m by k decrement, each decrement we are charging k arrivals. Okay, so for m by k decrements or greater than m by k decrements, we are charging this times k arrivals. Okay, that means we have to charge more than m arrivals in total, but this is not possible because we have a stream of length m. Okay, so your total number of arrivals cannot be greater than m. Okay, so hence our starting argument must be wrong, that every every item which has greater than uh, m by k arrivals, okay, or whose true frequency is greater than m by k, okay, must be there in the hand. Now, suppose your k is 1 by epsilon. Okay, then the claim is that for every item x with frequency fx, the algorithm can return an estimate, okay, f hat of x, such that, okay, f hat of x is less than or equal to fx. Okay, and it is greater than fx minus epsilon m. Okay, so this is the claim. Okay, so the first claim that is easy to prove, right? So f hat x is less than or equal to x. Okay, or less than or equal to f of x. Why? Okay, because every time the and so remember, we are never adding anything extra to the counter of x. Okay, so every time x is arriving, okay, every time uh, you know we are tracking x. Okay, we are only adding to its counter if there is an arrival of x. Okay, we are of course decreasing the counter many a times we are not able to track other items. Okay, so every sort of drop, or every time we are actually seeing an item in the stream but we are not able to track it, we are uh, decrementing f of x. So we may underestimate, we may decrement f of x, but we will never estimate f of x more, overestimate. Okay? So this side of the proof is easy to understand. Okay. The second claim is that we are never going to underestimate by more than epsilon m. Okay. And why is this? Again, the intuition is similar. See, uh, suppose we are underestimating, uh, you know, the underestimating the frequency of an item, okay, uh, by more than uh, epsilon m. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that we have uh, so we have greater than m by k decrements made to this items count. Okay, okay. If that is the case, we must have made more than m by k decrement to other items counts also, other of the k items counts also. Okay, because whenever we decrease, you know, k of the counters. Okay, I mean k, all k counters. Okay, otherwise we don't decrease. Okay, so then basically what we are saying is that uh, we are uh, we are decreasing a total of this times k counts, which is greater than k counts, but we have arrivals only m of them. Okay, so we cannot decrement this many. Okay, so hence we cannot decrement one item more than epsilon m, which is same as m by k many times. Okay, so uh, yeah. Okay, so in summary, this is a very simple deterministic algorithm. Okay, to estimate heavy hitters. So just to be clear here, we are estimating two things. Okay, so we are estimating all items. Okay, so we are identifying all items which have greater than epsilon m. So here epsilon, think about epsilon as 1 by k. Okay, so we are estimating with k counters, we are estimating greater than so we are identifying all items whose count is greater than epsilon m. Okay, and we are also estimating the frequency of item. Uh, okay, uh, with with accuracy, like within, like, you know, epsilon m. Okay, so minus, yeah, so we are never going below epsilon. Okay, okay, so this is a simple algorithm. Yeah, so the important thing is that this works only in arrival model. Okay, so most of this kind of counter based sketches, so remember we are only using some counters. Okay, so these counter based sketches, uh, they uh, work mostly with arrival only model. Okay, this was proposed in 1982, and this was actually rediscovered many times. Okay, okay, yeah. So now let us discuss one more algorithm. Okay, a different algorithm, which is the space saving algorithm. Okay, and we will compare and contrast. Okay, okay. So think about now this algorithm. Okay, so similar to the Mishra-Gries algorithm. Okay, we are keeping k counters, and also we are keeping k items in hand. Okay, now initially we set all counters to 0. Okay, now if so we are processing an item x. Okay, so let's say if x is an item which is there in hand, similar to Mishra-Gries, we just increment its counter. Okay, otherwise, again, if we are tracking less than k items, okay, uh, we just store x with counter is equal to 1. Okay, so these two steps are exactly same as Mishra-Gries. Okay, now comes now comes the third case. Third case is that your all k items are full. Okay, you are tracking k items, all of their counters is greater than 0. Okay, strictly greater than 0. Okay, and you are seeing an item which you are not tracking. Okay, so this is the case. In this case, the space saving algorithm, okay, what it does is it says replace the item with the smallest counter value by x. Okay, so whatever was the item that you have, okay, uh, you replace uh, uh, you replace the item. So you are tracking k items. Okay, so let's say x1 till xk. Okay, and each has counts c1 till ck. Okay, you find the item xi with minimum count ci. Okay, now what you do, let's say you are now processing this item y. Okay, okay, so the item y is what you have got. Okay, and none of these xi is equal to y, so this is not equal to y, this is not equal to y, and this is not equal to y. So what do you do? But this is the minimum. Okay, what do? You replace this with y and you increment this. So your ci gets incremented and your item gets replaced with this. So this is a very strange algorithm, right? So what it is doing, if you think about it, is that whichever item is minimum, okay, uh, or whichever items count is minimum, okay, we discard that item. Okay, so this is number one. But we don't throw away its counts, we add the counts of the minimum item to the current item. Okay, so we add the counts of the minimum item to the current item. So this is what the algorithm is doing. And again, the query mechanism is same. So if your q, so you are querying the item q. Okay, if the item q is in hand, okay, then you just return its counter value as the estimate of its count. Okay, otherwise you just return 0. Okay, now there are so why is this algorithm any good? Okay, so so first of all, again we will see that uh, all items with true count greater than epsilon m, okay, are present in the hand. Okay, okay. But now the second claim, so this claim is very similar to Mishra's. Okay, but the second claim is that for every element x, okay, it is overestimating its count. Okay, so first of all, it is never estimating it, so never underestimating its count. Okay, but it is overestimating. But the second part of the thing is that it is overestimating by at most epsilon m. Okay, so actually this second part we will not show. Okay, we will not show the proof of this. Okay, but so this you can take it to be true. So this is this is an algorithm given by Motwani and others. Okay, but the first one is easy to see. Okay, if we are tracking any item from the beginning, okay, then obviously we are never decrementing its counter, okay, okay. So we get exactly equal to f of x. But suppose we are not tracking the item from the beginning, okay. So we were tracking the item at some point in time, but then at some point in time its frequency was the minimum, okay, and it got replaced by another item, okay. If that is the case, okay, its counts are still stored in minimum, okay. So next time the item arrives in the stream, okay, uh, we will replace this item with the minimum count, okay. And since its counts are still stored in the minimum, okay, so we will never underestimate it, okay, and then we will start tracking this item from here, okay, okay. And this may happen any number of times, but the counts are never lost, okay. So if this item becomes minimum, okay, still its counts are maintained in minimum, okay. So at any point in time, if uh, if we are actually tracking an item, okay, so then it's yeah, so then we are not underestimating its count, okay. And okay, so now we go ahead and prove the first claim here, okay. So the claim is that all items with true count greater than epsilon m are uh, present in hand, okay. Now, again, just remember that here epsilon is 1 by k. Okay, so you are basically having k counters. Okay, uh, okay. So now the first thing to notice is that at any point in time, okay, the minimum value is at most epsilon m, okay. It cannot be larger than epsilon m, okay. So why is that? Basically your counters, all the counters should sum to m, right? Because you are never dropping any count, never losing any count, okay. So all your counters should sum to m, okay. Now there are 1 by epsilon many counters, okay. So every counter should have uh, at least epsilon m count, okay. uh, okay uh, so the smallest the other way around, right? So the average is epsilon m, okay. So uh, so the so there are so the average is epsilon m, and hence the smallest of them should be definitely less than epsilon m, okay. Okay, now uh, the second observation is that the true count of an uncounted item is between 0 and minimum, okay. So if we prove this, that the true count of an uncounted item is between 0 and minimum, okay, then we have uh, proved that all items with true count greater than epsilon m are are present in hand. Why? Because we know that your min is kind of less than or equal to epsilon m. Okay, and we know that if there is an uncounted item, okay, its count is less than min. Okay, so if x is an uncounted item, then fx is less than min. Okay, so then fx is less than epsilon m. Okay, so for every, so this is true for all uncounted items. Okay, uh, and hence any count which is greater than epsilon. So the contrapositive of that is that if there is an item uh, whose true count is greater than epsilon m, okay, then it must be in the hand. Okay. Okay. So the question is, how do we prove this? Okay. That the true count of an uncounted item is basically less than uh, minimum. Okay, and again the proof is by induction. Okay, so so this is true initially, because initially, you know, all your minimum, so think about the just after the first insertion your minimum is 1. Okay, uh, but uh, you know, the all the uncounted items have got true count 0 at this point. Okay, so this is true initially. Okay, now note that the min, it increases monotonically. Okay, so why does it increase monotonically? Because we never decrement anything anywhere. So in particular, we also don't decrement the minimum counter. Okay, we only change the item. Okay, but we never decrement it. Okay, so now consider, so now consider this item x. Okay, now this item x is not in hand. Okay, okay, so it must have been dropped at some point in time. Okay, so either it never appeared. Okay, then anyway its true count is 0. Okay, or if it appeared even once, okay, it must have been dropped at some point. Okay, now let that point be uh, t, and this point is in the past, so we are looking at m. Okay, so we assume that this hypothesis is true, okay, for all times in the past. Okay, so now notice that this item never appeared from t to n, because if it had appeared, okay, this wouldn't be its last drop. Okay, it would have been replaced by the item with the minimum at some point in time, and since it is not being trapped, so it would have to be dropped again. Okay, so it does not appear between t to n. Okay, so which means that even at time t, its true count was actually fx. Okay, which is the true count at time m. Okay, now consider this point in time. Okay, this true count was uh, less than, or rather this was exactly equal to min t. Now min t was the min at this point in time. Okay, because if it had not been the minimum, then this item would not have been dropped. Okay, and we know that min is increasing, so min t is definitely less than or equal to min, the current minimum. Okay, because minimum we know is it never decreases, it only increases. Okay, so f of x must be less than or equal to minimum. Okay, hence we show that the true count of all items greater than epsilon m, uh, or rather all items with greater than epsilon m, true count greater than epsilon m are present in hand, because any item that is not present in hand has to have its true count less than or equal to min, okay, which is less than or equal to epsilon m. Okay, so we have discussed two sketches. Okay, one is the Mishra-Green sketch, and another is the space saving, or rather two methods of doing counting. Okay, one is the Mishra-Green, another one is the space saving. Okay, one underestimates, the other overestimates. Okay, but all within bound. Okay, so you can kind of estimate the frequencies within bound of epsilon m. You need, so if you want to estimate the frequencies within plus minus epsilon m, you need like theta of 1 by epsilon many counters. Okay, this we have seen. Okay, and so we haven't seen the proof of space saving, but you can assume that this is true. Okay, and we have also seen that we are uh, you know keeping track of all items, or we are able to identify all items whose true count is greater than epsilon m. Okay, so these methods, they work only for arrival only streams. Okay, and in practice these are somewhat more space efficient. Okay, uh, so so uh, so these are uh, so that is the utility of these counter based approaches. Okay, and so next we will see some sketch based approaches. Okay, uh, so sketch is sort of informally defined as a compact data structure, okay, that allows both inserts and deletes. Okay, so the way it works is it uses hash functions, okay, to compute a linear transform of the input. Okay, uh, and as a result they have very nice properties. Okay, so for example they work for arrival and departure. Okay, and they also can work in distributed settings. Okay, so we will see this next.